Welcome to another meeting of the Lorain County Commissioners, broadcast exclusively on your Lorain County Community College education station. The Lorain County Commissioners cordially invite you to see the meetings live and in person every Thursday morning. The meetings are located in the Lorain County Administration Building, located at 226 Middle Avenue in downtown Elyria. The meetings start at 9:30 a.m. on most weeks. Now, enjoy the meeting.
Okay, we could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Man, these are huge.
These are nice. Good morning, everybody. The media has accused me of always using quotes with a Republican theme, so I figured today I will try a Democrat one. This one's from George McGovern. You know, sometimes when they say you're ahead of your time, it's just a polite way of saying you have real bad sense of timing. So, before we start the meeting today, there's a group here that'd like to speak and do a presentation. So if you don't mind, I'd like to kind of go off the agenda and have the group from the Challenger program do a quick presentation.
Good morning. I'm Kurt Kepp. You might remember me from December. Last time I was here to ask you for money. Today I'm here to thank you, not to ask you for money, and also invite you to our opening day ceremonies Saturday, June 15th, this coming Saturday at noon. The only stipulation is you have to have a uniform, and if you don't have one, we have one here for you. And we'd like you to come down here if you would and accept it.
While we're walking, can you explain again what the Challenger?
The Challenger division is a Little League division for disabled children. And the commissioners, if you remember, helped us with the program on the upfront with the solid waste grant money.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, wait a minute. You guys see? They were both number one.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's the best way to go.
Okay, thank you. Hope to see you Saturday.
Yeah, Betty's too?
Yeah, if you could give this to Commissioner Blair for us. Hope to see you Saturday. Thank you.
Yeah. Huh? Let's put it right here.
We'll hang on a chair.
I'll put it on.
Does it fit right?
Yeah, well, I just don't fit right.
In more ways than one.
Oh, we had to go there. Okay. And also, if you notice the lovely flowers, Mr. Kish has been gracious enough to, I don't know if it's a thorn, we're not going to talk about thorns and roses, but thank you again for the flowers and to add to the ambiance of our meeting, Bob. Madam Clerk?
Other resolutions? The motion to approve the driver's family census bills for payment.
So moved.
Second?
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Investments?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Appropriations?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Transfers?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
There's one advance for $6,763.02 from the general fund to the erosion control loan program.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Requisitions?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Travel expenses?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Approving bills for payment?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
I'd like to authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary for employees within the jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
I'd like to award contract to Americut Coring and Sawing Incorporated from Vermillion, Ohio in the amount of $77,459. This was the only bid received for the Chamberlain Road Bridge replacement number 0049. The county engineer's estimate was $83,450. This project is being funded 76% by the Ohio Public Works Commission, which is $58,868.84. This contract should be awarded contingent upon receipt of the grant, which should be received about July 1st, 2002. The remaining 24% of the cost of this project, which is $18,590, will be paid from the Motor Vehicle Gas Tax Fund. AmeriCut proposes to begin work on or before June 15th and to complete all work on or before August 15th, 2002. The county engineer has reviewed and recommends approval.
So move.
Second?
Discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
To authorize Lorraine County Engineer to proceed by force account for normal and general maintenance and repair during the year 2002 on county roads for the safety of the traveling public.
So moved.
Second, but I have a question. What's meant by force account? There's no one here from the engineers department. Do you know, Jerry?
Yeah, they have, there's a special account that they can use for particular kinds of improvements in which they can go out and do the improvement and they don't have to go out through bidding and all that sort of thing. But it's a special account established by the revised code for doing certain kinds of improvements through the engineer department itself.
By special account, do you mean, is that a special fund that they have? Or is it just a way that they can use certain...
It really is more designation to tell you that they can do it through their own offices as opposed to going out and contracting for it. And the statutory, they use the term account.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
I'd like to approve and enter into a participation agreement between the Board of Commissioners and the Ohio Department of Transportation for the purchase of sodium chloride, which is rock salt, for the 2002-2000 year winter season. An estimated 10,000 tons will be delivered, stockpiling 300 tons at the Columbia Township Garage and stockpiling 3,000 tons at the Lorraine County Garage.
So move.
Second?
Discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
I'd like to approve and enter into purchase of service contract between the Board of Commissioners and the Medicaid Outreach Program staffing in the amount not to exceed $114,445.13 for the Department of Job and Family Services for program staffing effective July 1st, 2002 through June 30th, 2003. Need to authorize the President or Vice President to execute on behalf of the Board.
Did you want us to move on this, or did you want to hold on this, or?
I think we need to table that until next week. There's still some issues concerning the proper breakdown of the allocations. So if we could wait until next week, we have more clarification as to what's acceptable in the formula from the state. I've discussed this with Mr. Rokas, and he's having a meeting on Monday with the folks from ODJS to talk about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, number 14 then, approve change order to T.H. Martin Duct Systems Incorporated of Cleveland, Ohio, in the amount of $1,295 to install the ground wire from the existing panels to the new variable frequency drives, 4 of them, for Lorraine County Correctional Facility. Lorraine County Sheriff and RWL Architects have reviewed and recommends approval. Funds are available in the Jail Task Construction Fund Capital Improvement Account.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
I have to approve and enter into the following agreements on behalf of the Department of Job and Family Services. The first will be in a service agreement with Talks Corporation, the work number, to provide Job and Family Services staff with verification of clients' employment and wages at a flat monthly fee of $60 for up to the first 90 inquiries and a cost of $3.50 each for any additional searches. The agreement will be for 1 year, beginning July 1st, 2002. The payment will be made out of other expenses account. We need to authorize Mary Lugosi, the director, to enter into these contracts. The second with medical transportation agreements with Lorraine County Transit in the amount of $55,000 for 1 year, effective July 1st, 2002 through June 30th, 2003. The agreement will serve clients in need of diagnostic and preventive medical treatments. The rates for this year's contract are $18.50 per one-way trip, $10 per no-show, including ADA-certified clients, and $1 per extra family member. The third one with Lorraine County Cab Company in the amount of $84,000 for 1 year. This is a renewal agreement which will handle medical transportation, which cannot be scheduled through Lorraine County Transit, and this is effective July 1st, 2002 through June 30th, 2003. And the last one with Life Care Ambulance Incorporated in the amount of $10,000 for 1 year, also effective July 1st, 2002 through June 30th, 2003. Life Care is utilized mainly for medical transportation, which cannot be scheduled through Lorraine County Transit or other providers. And payments for the above medical transportation agreements will be made from transportation expenses account.
So move.
Second?
Discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
I'd like to authorize payment of the county general fund mandated share payable to the Department of Job and Family Services in compliance with the Ohio Revised Code, Section 5101.16 through 5101.161 for the period July 1st, 2002 through June 30th, 2003. Said payment from the county general fund will be at $104,994.50 per month for July 2002 through May 2003, and $104,995.50 for the month of June 2003.
So move.
Second?
Think
Well, I
Joe or
got-
somebody wants to speak on the issue.
Everyone's jumping up and down over here. We got 4 people that want to speak, it looks like.
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Good morning. I believe Mr. Cortez was speaking about number 16 when he asked to table something, and we would ask that you pass number 13. We are still waiting for clarification on number 16, and I believe that's what John was going to say also.
Oh, okay.
Today's the 13th, so maybe that's what happened.
But the 13th, we still like that to be discussed if necessary and recommend passage of it.
Yes, I stand corrected. I had my numbers backwards here. I apologize to the board.
So is that what you're, is that why you're?
That's what I had.
Everybody over here started jumping up and down, like, hey, you know, Joe, everyone. Usually people don't get that excited about this type of awards. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll table number 16. I'll withdraw. Did I make the motion or did you make the motion?
On 16, yes.
I made the motion.
Mrs. Vacy moved and you second.
So I withdraw my second.
Okay.
I withdraw my motion.
Okay,
And this is to be tabled, correct?
that'll be tabled. So we'll
We'll
just,
go back to 13 then? or
yeah.
And I'll move on 13.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Would you like discussion on that, Joe?
Not necessarily, unless you have any questions.
Okay, thanks.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Number 17, to receive the annual report on maintenance ditches is prepared and submitted by the county engineer in accordance with Ohio Revised Code Section 6137.06, and all these ditches will be listed in the resolution.
So move.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes? Is there a way that, I mean, when we get these on the agenda items, I mean, is there a way we can get a list of the ditches? I mean, do we have that ahead of time, or is that in the report that we get when we sign it? Because I have it, I have to sign the final after we vote.
Yeah,
Is it on that list?
I believe that any information you want, you can receive before then.
No, I'm just
I don't
saying-
have an answer to whether it's on the list before you get it, Commissioner. I don't know.
Okay.
It's in the letter the engineer
Is it
said
in the
that
blue envelope?
There's just so many I didn't want to
Okay, no, that's fine. As
Put
long as
them
it's in
on.
there.
Right, I don't normally see that material, so I can't really.
Okay,
like 2
I was just
pages, I
asking.
think.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure. Okay, thanks.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Award contract to Crossroads Asphalt Recycling of Columbia Station, Ohio, in the amount of $24,693.50 for the Sheffield Lake Community Center parking lot, a community development block grant fiscal year 2001 funded project. Engineer's estimate was $24,800. Crossroads was the only bid received. CDBG funds will pay the entire cost of this project. The Lorraine County Community Development Department and the City of Sheffield Lake has reviewed and recommends approval.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
I'd like to authorize payment to the Ohio Water Development Authority for the Lorraine County Coastal Erosion Loan Program in the amount of $13,540.02 for the first semi-annual loan payment prior to June 28, 2002. The Board of Commissioners have granted a general fund advance in order to make these payments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Reports, comments, Mr. Cordez, Administrator?
I have one last-minute issue here for a resolution. I'll pass this to the board after I read it. It's requesting a resolution accepting bids submitted by CGI Group for hardware and software items which were not covered under state purchasing, the Lorraine County Department of Job and Family Services Document Imaging Program. The hardware is for $41,946. The software is for $56,474. Mr. Titilio is here to speak on this. They asked that we bring it up so that they can keep the project moving. Joe, would you come forward and just let the board have a little information on this, please?
Yes, these are the items that were not on state purchasing. The commissioners have already approved us to purchase hardware, software, and professional services through the state term purchasing schedule with the state. And these items are items that were not listed on state purchasing that we had to go out on bid for. The bids were released and everything, and there was just one bid came in, and it was the CGI Group. And we're trying to move forward with it so we could process it as soon as possible.
It was advertised, Joe, and only one bid came in?
Yes.
It's kind of odd. Listen, just return.
That's surprising with all the companies in Lorraine County,
Right.
that only one bid came in.
So it was advertised out and everyone knew? Okay. Oh, looks like somebody missed out on a $107,000 local bid.
Right. Where's this company from?
You know where it's from?
The company.
The company is a company that we have a contract to do the professional services on. They're out of Cleveland. They used to be Orion, they were MRI Global, and now they're CGI Group.
Okay.
They keep transferring or changing company names. What do they do? Keep selling out?
Somebody keeps buying them, I believe.
Okay, not much you could do, I guess.
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
I have no further reports this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Assistant County Prosecutor, Mr. Ennis?
I have no report this morning.
Thank you. Commissioner's
Report?
Commissioner Vacy?
I just have one question. I got this router this morning about the Justice Center. Jim, explain what they mean by something is collapsing over there while they're digging.
Certainly.
A shaft?
Right. One of the, as we sat by and waited for several weeks for this big piece of equipment to come to bore these very large cylindrical holes for basically what we can define as a pillar, support pillar to hold up the Justice Center. One of those was a very, very large one that they're having a problem boring the hole without it collapsing in because of the circumference of the hole that's needed. And they've tried on 2 occasions and have not been able to successfully install that pillar. So I discussed with them earlier in the week what we need to do, and the issue was resolved by boring 3 holes for 3 support pillars, vice the one large one, and then to place a slab over the 3 of them, and in essence to join them and make one support, because the soil will not support a hole that diameter for the originally designed large one.
I think my question is, has that soil been checked for like quicksand? Because I know this building has quicksand. It was built on quicksand. What
Right.
about, it might be over there too. Is that the problem?
Well, the consistency of the soil is sound for the footers that they're putting in. And you're right that the parking deck is sitting on what they call floating footers because the consistency of the soil there was not sound enough to put regular footers in. The consistency of the soil is such to support the Justice Center is fine. It's just that because the hole was so big in diameter, that we kept having some cave-ins into the hole and were not able to properly excavate the hole to do a pour into the hole. What the machine does is it bores down in a circular hole, very large, I'm just small, and then it fans out the bottom and underneath it, much wider. And when you do the pour comes down through the cylinder.
Pour, you mean the cement?
The concrete, excuse me, through the cylinder, and then it fans out, and you get your large footprint. They keep having cave-ins because of the consistency of the soil there. They haven't had any problem with the smaller ones, but just this one very large one they have not been able to accomplish. So they're going to 3 separate ones, and then over the 3 separate ones, they'll have a slab that joins those to give us the support. The engineers are designing this, and the architects are designing it, so it's just a different procedure arriving at the same results.
Okay, and what about the cost of that? Are we going to
Well,
bear the cost?
there's some additional cost involved. There's going to be redesign costs for redesigning the support, and then there's going to be some additional costs for having to rebore the 3 holes, and there'll be additional concrete and so forth. Yes, there'll be additional cost.
When they tested the soil, didn't they realize that it wouldn't accept such a large hole or whatever?
What they do is they do bore samplings, but those are random bore samplings around the site, and they can't tell until they actually start putting these pillars in place whether the consistency of the soil is going to support all the pillars. Sometimes it happens. I think they did do enough due diligence on the boring on the site, and that's evident by the fact that we've only had a problem with this one very, very large pillar support pillar that they want to put in.
Seems to me if they knew that that pillar was going to be placed there, that's where they would have did the testing.
I
And
can't
I'm
speak.
wondering if it would be our responsibility to pay for a change.
Well, I really can't speak to that. Once again, they may have taken a bore sampling that looked fine and then got down and tried to fan out in that very large hole, and it just started collapsing. Remember, the bore samples are very small. They don't capture a large enough area. I'm not defending their practices. I'm just not sure that they would be able to capture enough data from the boring to tell whether they were going to be able to put this pillar in or not. We did ask that question, though. We did ask them if they bored. They did say they did due diligence on the bore sampling. We've also found a couple foundations down there that we were unaware of that were down there also. We took out the foundations from the houses and so forth. I remember leaving one very large retaining wall along Commerce Court, because we were afraid if we took the retaining wall out, we may collapse the roadway there. But the rest of them we took out when we cleared the site. But we found additional foundation walls on the site from facilities that predate our ownership of what we had on the site. So those are other things that, boring around the site we did not run into them boring. It wasn't that they didn't look for them, but they just didn't happen upon them during the boring.
Well, what's your thoughts on this?
I haven't seen the memo yet. You got it, so.
Well, we're not doing anything with it right now, so
Correct.
give us time to think about it. Or are we?
We are.
It wasn't on the agenda or anything, so.
We are. In order to keep, we had to do the 3 pillars, and otherwise the job comes to a complete halt and everybody stands there for weeks. This is one of those change orders that I passed that to you as for information. I think it says on my what is the cover memo say it's
It says a potential change order.
Right.
No, you got FYI on there.
That's what I'm letting you know that this has occurred, and this was not something that could have waited a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks to be resolved. This needed to be resolved immediately to keep the project on track. We met with the construction manager, and this is what they recommended doing. There was no other alternative. They couldn't go any other way. I asked them to prepare that letter so that the board was informed that this is coming down the road. But some of these things, Commissioner, are not going to be able to wait a week or 2 weeks.
It would hold the project up as well.
Yes, ma'am. But I'm going to do my best, with memos and supporting documentation so that you're well informed through the process. That's why I asked for that letter to explain it to the board from the construction manager.
Well, it's always my thought, when there's change orders like this, why doesn't the architect or all these people that are designing these buildings, why can't they realize, like the soil, why don't they realize these things before they happen, and instead of after they happen, come up and ask for additional money?
You and I share a lot of the same sentiments on change orders. We've been fighting them down at 911 and EMA for some time, and we got a whole list of things that we're working on with change orders down there. Sometimes change orders are inevitable. This one had to be done. Foundation walls, when they run into them, they're digging the foundation hole, they have to be removed. I don't want to say it's a no-brainer, but waiting 2 weeks.
I understand
right.
the waiting, but my concern is that these things could have possibly been noticed in advance, since you're hiring these professionals that are supposed to be knowing about, what they can run into,
Right.
to dig down deep enough when they're boring or whatever, and they know the size of the pillar that's going in there. But that's just something we have to look for when they talk about change orders. Is it their responsibility to pick up the extra cost, or is it actually a responsibility that we need to
We have been very successful at keeping the change orders to a minimum at 911. In fact, the architects just picked up a $4,000 cost down at 911 because we refused to pay for a change order because of a design defect. We're trying very diligently to stay on top of those.
especially with this project. I mean,
Especially,
this
but
is a huge project.
I wish I could tell you that we're not going to see a large amount of change orders. We will try to limit them, but I think there's going to be a lot of things that come after the fact that hadn't occurred to people or require additional work. But we will keep you well informed, and we will press everybody to keep them to a minimum. But some of these, we're probably going to have several more until the building foundations are up and we start putting steel in, because a lot of this it's like ripping off a roof. You don't know if there's going to be rotted wood under the roof until you rip the shingles off and take a look at it.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Commissioner.
One more thing. The Children's Service Board, there's 4 members of the board that have to be reappointed, and I think we should do this like next week if possible, because 2 of them, their terms are up and they can't even vote at this point. And then there's 2 to be renewed after that, and their terms will be up in July.
I received the Commissioner Moore, I think you sent me a memo saying that reappointment was fine for you on those people that were on the board. I was going to pass that to the clerk. So if they're good, Commissioner Moore, you won't be here next week, but if that's still your position on the matter, then the other 2 ladies could vote on those reappointments.
That's all I have. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I do have one other thing. I've got these little booklets over here if anybody's interested in them. The Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States of America. And I've got several of them, so as many as you need, just let me know how many you need. And also these, which are the county directories with all the telephone numbers and a little bit of information in regards to what each department does in the county. So these are available. Just let us know how many you need. If you want to bring them into a group or a school or whatever, we should have enough. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. I have none.
No, any old business?
I have none.
New business?
None. I have
None here.
none.
Board correspondence?
Move to be waived.
Second.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Public comment?
Elizabeth Rummings, Oberlin. I think I raised this question last year, and perhaps somebody is working at it, but I notice on today's agenda that sodium chloride is again being used against ice in the wintertime and so forth. From what I, in my very sparse and quick reading, know, sodium chloride has a lot of deleterious effects upon landscaping, even upon the concrete itself and so on. And so what I'm wondering is anybody anywhere in the county looking at alternatives to sodium chloride, which would be effective enough and would lack any of these bad effects, which continual application can do? Cars themselves even react to it not very happily.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
I will correspond with the county engineer and get an answer to your question. I think I remember you bringing it up last year also, so we'll see if we can't put it to rest.
If you could find out, one, the alternatives and the cost, I think that's the two issues, because it always breaks down to money after that. So I think those are the two questions that would probably need to be answered.
That is a good question.
Cost and alternatives. Okay, anyone else? Good morning, Bob.
Hello, my name is Bob Kish. I live in Elyria. I am a charter member of the Seven Seas. I try to be nice. Sherry Lewis said it best. This is the song that never ends. It just goes on and on, my friends. The parking lot song goes on, my friends. I noticed last week when I spoke here as I walked to the podium that there were spots where I normally parked, top floor always it seems, that was vacant. And the Chronicle Telegram reported on the unused space in the parking garage. I guess RHIP still reigns. Rank has its privilege. Some are more equal than others. What I was getting at, and I said it before, if nobody had a reserved parking space, the problem would be solved sooner. However, that's never going to happen. I know that, and everybody up there knows that. I can no longer enter the area through the parking garage on my way to commissioners' meetings. I cannot monitor them. I never have seen a vehicle in an election board slot. Perhaps funds could be saved by relocating. I know they say it can't be done, but don't ever say never. You have to have hope. I hope that the Elyria Elections Board, or the Lorraine one if need be, can be located in the space formerly occupied in Mr. Twining's office. This will then let them park in their parking slot. They'll use it then. And the other spaces that are unused. You'll get two savings for the price of one. You won't have to pay rent at that building. They'll be here. And they'll be able to use the parking spaces that are unused. As to signage on the new Tower of Power Justice Center, I know you talked on it, different signs, different ways of identifying the building. You'd better check first with the City of Elyria and their limits on signs. They have restrictions on signs, the color, the brightness, everything. So check with the City of Elyria before you get too involved if you ever do decide to put any signage on the building at all. Mr. Loomis can talk to you on that subject. I'm glad they finally saw the light. Anyway, thank you for allowing me to speak. This segment was brought to you by this segment of Lorain County Churns. It was brought to you by the Seven Seas and the Old and Useless. Until next time, thank you.
Thanks for the flowers today, Bob. Anybody else have any public discussion? Seeing none, I move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a public hearing at 10:30. But
I try to get out of that. Okay, I guess I gotta pull my motion off. Now I got a motion to adjourn. She's second.
Yeah.
Can't we just
Withdraw
vote
that.
on it?
Mr. Ennis would say no.
Oh, I thought, no, we're in discussion vote now anyway.
Right.
I thought I was told that we're not gonna have it. We still have to come out here and do all that? Or can we just say since it canceled it, we can cancel it, or we have to come out here at 10:30 and cancel it?
Well, somebody's got to be out here to let any public that shows up
Oh, really?
know that it's
Okay.
happening.
So we can just recess. Move
okay
to
then.
recess until 10:30.
Okay, I'll second.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
I wonder if I should just make a comment that the administrative briefing that was scheduled for Tuesday is canceled, in case anybody would
Okay.
show up. Well, Mr. Twining was going to talk about the building codes, but
Okay, sorry
she'll
about
be out
that.
of town. Won't happen that day, so.
Okay, that's it. Al's over there trying.